Okay, so we're going to call this meeting to order. This is the regular meeting of the Encinitas City Council at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, May 18, 2022. May we please have a roll call?
Yes, Councilmember Hinsey.
Here.
Councilmember Crayons.
Here.
Councilmember Lyons.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Mosca.
Here.
And Mayor Blakespear.
Here.
Record will show that all members of the City Council are present.
Okay, and I'm going to turn it over to our city attorney to announce some things about this meeting.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, members of the public, for being in attendance. I wanted to let members of the public know that at approximately 4:30 this afternoon, the City Council met in a special open session to discuss and to decide whether or not to go virtual as a result of a COVID outbreak at City Hall pursuant to Cal OSHA guidelines. The City Council did resolve that all future meetings for the time being will be held by Zoom only. In light of that, the City Council will move this evening after public comment for items not on the agenda to continue all items on tonight's agenda to Wednesday, May 25th at the next regular meeting. And that regular meeting will be held by Zoom.
Okay, thank you. So we will take our public comments if both of you are here for public comment. Public comment is for things that are not on the agenda. So the city clerk can go ahead and call them.
Yes, Katie Papaniak, followed by Peggy Walker. And you each have 3 minutes.
Katie Papaniak. I've been watching virtually the whole couple years. And Kelly, I didn't know until last week that you were pregnant. It's like I was just shocked, but congratulations. Happy for you. So, my whole career has been in mental health, and I really just enjoy working with youth. Last week I went to the last meeting, I went to the Youth Commission meeting, and the leadership there is just unbelievable. And I know you've probably read their resumes now, because I went through all the resumes today, and it's just, I used to teach people to write resumes. I could not do one like they did. So you have some great leaders coming along, and it's too bad tonight that we didn't get to hear from them, but you will. In the old days, the youth I worked with were called high-risk youth, and I loved that. Foster youth, kids, in trouble and all that. And now, I feel like all youth are kind of high risk, and to some degree, there's scary things out there for them. So, yesterday, I heard a speech from a pediatric specialist at Rady's, and that was all about ingestion of THC, and 80% of the THC that's ingested by children under 10 are edibles. So again, the scary edibles. In 2016, they saw 20 cases, now 120 so far this year, and San Diego County Poison Control is how they get their data. And the marijuana exposure cases have gone up 75%. This made me think of my grandson's birthday. Last weekend, my grandson turned 9, and my daughter let them all have Cheetos, and those kids are eating these Cheetos, and their fingers are all orange, and I'm just grossed out by that. I think that's so horrible. But Lynn Silver, a doctor at USF, clinical professor, reported several related incidents to the exposure of THC. And last week, 6 elementary students in Riverside were sick and hospitalized from eating Cheetos-like edibles. So, scary stuff. Somebody asked me if in Encinitas we could have those kinds of things in the stores, in the shops. And I think we could, because I looked at Vista and they sell everything up to, ice cream, candy, cookies, all that. So I would love it if here in Encinitas that we didn't have flavored marijuana, just like we voted not to have flavored tobacco. But thank you.
I want to thank you for this very private hearing. It's something I've never had before. It's wonderful. My name is Peggy Walker. I've worked in youth drug use prevention 25, 30 years now, and Katie often works in the mental health area. I work in the prevention area. And we did not really synchronize this, but we did both attend the same workshop yesterday with Dr. Laub from Rady's Children's Hospital and heard the same very disturbing statistics. And when I realized that you had passed the ballot measure for the marijuana tax last week and that it will be on the ballot in November, I thought, this is a great opportunity to spend some money for public education. It's so needed. People just don't have any idea of the harms that are done, especially to children who inadvertently ingest marijuana. I wanted to just share some facts from Dr. Laub. It's Laub, L-A-U-B. She did say that 100% of ingestion by children under 10, that includes infants and toddlers, is due to edibles like gummy bears, brownies, cookies, things that are sweets that are attractive to children. They walk by, they pick it up. They have no idea that they are eventually going to suffer symptoms like these. Aggravation, vomiting, altered mental status, ataxia, where they can't walk, seizing, stop breathing, coma, and cardiac arrest. It's very disturbing to see a 4-year-old seize or a 3-year-old go into a coma because they happen to pick up something that looked like a candy or a cookie. It would be so helpful if parents had more knowledge about the impact on their children of these products if they happen to have them in their homes. So I know it's 6 months off, but I wanted to ask you if you would please consider when that marijuana tax ballot measure passes and that money goes into the general fund, please allot a generous portion for parent and public education on the risks of marijuana. We just don't want to see this happening to our children. And I know that there are medical experts like Dr. Laub and prevention and mental health experts who would be happy to help in any way determine how you could develop educational materials or disseminate it or get the word out to our public. Something to think about. Thank you so much for listening.
And that concludes oral communications.
Okay, thank you. Tarquin, would you like to say anything else, or should we adjourn?
Well, we need to make a motion.
I'll move that we move the remainder of the agenda to the next meeting, which is May 25th at 6 p.m.
I would entertain a second.
Second.
Okay, let's vote.
Motion carried unanimously. And so just to reiterate, all items that appear on this agenda will now be continued to next week's regular city council meeting agenda.
Okay, thank you. And with that, we are adjourned.